What is up, everyone? It has been ages since I've uploaded to this channel. I've been focusing on my other channel. If you haven't checked that out, link in the description. Since I've uploaded, I have done a lot of other things, and now I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna start this channel up again. So I'm gonna start off with just doing my favorite Pokemon picker. I've done this in the past, not for a very long time. I think it was like Gen 7 or Gen 8 when I did it. And now, obviously, there's multiple other gens. I've also played through Shining Pearl, Violet, and I'm currently playing through Pokemon MMO. So I've already finished Johto. I'm pretty much finished Kanto as well. So in that, I'll get started. So I'm going to start with Palkia. So Sinnoh is my home region, even though I started in Kanto. Sorry, my first playthrough was of Pokemon Red. The most playthroughs I've played is Sinnoh, so I played twice on Pearl, once on Platinum, and then Shining Pearl as well. So I've got a soft spot for Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina. Garchomp as well, from that same reason. I never actually used a Garchomp, but Cynthia is the main reason that it's rated so high for me. Azumarill, I had a shiny Azurill that I have obviously evolved into Azumarill in my Violet playthrough named Bubble Bunny. So definitely up there for me. Geodude, because of Punchy Rock, the meme with Smosh. Cofagrigus, I just really like the Pokemon, I don't know. Snorlax, I know for a fact is one of my favourite Pokemon of all time. I've loved it since I was a kid because it reminded me of my uncle. And because of that, in Kanto right now, I'm using one named Rogue after my uncle and after myself on this channel. And then other than that, I'm pretty set with those Pokemon. I like the whole line. Tinkaton, Tinkatink, and Tinkatuff. Yeah, it is Tinkatink. Okay, check. Tinkatink is actually my favourite of the line, even though most of the time I will be choosing the full evolutions. That'll be in the majority of cases, but in this case I actually like Tinkatink the most from that line. And Ceruledge, I don't... Rockruff. Rockruff is my wife Courtney's one of her favourite Pokemon, so in turn became one of my favourites. So move on to the next one. Oh, I've also got, I'm just letting you know, the regional variants and Mega Evolutions set up. So out of these ones, Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum is one of my favourite my favourite fossil Pokemon, even though I've never used it. I just think it's super cool, and it's one of my wife's favourite Pokemon as well. And that would... Oh, and Lycanroc Dusk form. You gotta really go through these just to make sure. Next one, I'm happy with that. Groudon, Hariyama. Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza are the best trio out of all Pokemon legendaries. Even though I like Sinnoh so much, they are the best, in my opinion. I like Zapdos. I like Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee just as much as each other. Never really liked Hitmontop. And then, other than that, Crocodile is just cool Pokemon. That's about it. I don't actually like Alolan Raichu. I prefer the original Raichu. I just noticed Alolan Ninetales. I really like Alolan Ninetales, so gotta press that before thing. So move on to the next one. Scyther. I used a Scyther and then Scizor. It evolved into a Scizor on my Johto playthrough named Psychomantis. Ended up being my best Pokemon. So Stab, Bullet Punch with Technician and Metal Coat just wrecked everything. It was great. And that's all I'd say is Scyther, yeah. What's better than one sword? Two swords. Double-blade. Simple as that. I'm a weapons collector. If you don't know me, if you don't watch my other channel, I collect weapons. So knives, swords, guns. I got my license, obviously. So I just really like swords and stuff. And when Aegislash, Double-blade, and Hone Edge come out, I just really liked the line, even though I never played the generation. So I stopped playing after Sinnoh, and I got back into Pokemon because of Shining Pearl, and now I've fallen back in love with Pokemon. And other than Double-blade, the only other Pokemon I can say is Vulpix. And that's about it. I don't mind Cacturne. I like Cacturne. I like Skeledirge. You know what? I'll put Cacturne. I don't think it'll pass after this one, but other than that, yeah, that's it. Skeledirge I don't like enough to pick, I know I won't make it. Rotom, I'm going to click Rotom Wash, even though I usually pick the original Pokemon. Rotom, just a really cool Pokemon. I love how you can change it all and everything. So, and then here's Aegislash. Aegislash. I never used an Aegislash until I started playing Pokemon Showdown, which I also started playing. Yeah, it's just a really cool Pokemon, obviously. Garganacl for the same reason, Pokemon Showdown. Didn't like it I didn't use it in the playthrough of Violet, and never really liked it until I used it in Pokemon Showdown, so now I do like it. And moving on, Totodile is... I used a Feraligatr named Irwin in my Johto playthrough. There's Hitmonlee. That's really it from this one. Like, there's not many Pokemon that I hate, and I do love a lot of Pokemon, do like a lot of Pokemon, so I'm trying to just choose the Pokemon that I really like, that I know could go further, if you know what I mean. So, for instance, Grovyle. I really like Grovyle, so I'll pick it, but then I don't mind my Horsey. I gotta mention here, I Am Valiant. I was very disappointed when the Future Paradox were announced. I was very disappointed, so... oh well. Gyarados, I had Jormungandr. The Gyarados in my Shining Pearl playthrough. I don't know if I've ever used it before Shining Pearl, and I don't think I've used it after, but Jormungandr, yep. Gengar and Hisuian Zoroark. Gengar, I'm currently using one in Kanto. No. Yes, currently using one in Kanto named Azrael. Gengar has just always been one of my favorites. I've got a plushie of Gengar as well. Hisuian Zoroark. I always liked Zoroark actually because of the movie. Like, as I said, I stopped playing in Sinnoh, but I watched the Zoroark movie, really liked it. And then the Ghost normal type Zoroark just blew me out of the park. It is awesome. Just an awesome combination and awesome design Pokemon. Greninja, I don't mind. I've never really got the overhype for it, but I do like it enough to at least advance it. And then Ninetales again. I do like the Ice Fairy form, the Alolan form, a little bit more, but not by much. So, and then Regius. If you haven't watched my previous videos, please do. It'll help, but obviously up to you. But I did use in one of my videos of if I was a Viking Pokemon trainer, Regius is on there. So, yeah, just like the Pokemon because of that too. Skarmory, never liked it, never used it until I started using it on my Pokemon Showdown, and it's basically just my Hazardsmon, and it's crazy. It's good. And Tyrunt for the same reason as Tyranitar. I used a Shedinja in my... I don't even remember what playthrough. I used one anyways, but yeah. Not enough. I didn't like it enough. Roserade. I used a Roserade in two of my Sinnoh playthroughs, so my Pearl and my Platinum playthrough, named Poison Ivy. So I do like Roserade. Lopunny. I like Lopunny as well. Empoleon. I always liked penguins. So Empoleon become one of my favorite Pokemon when I was playing as a kid. It's definitely dropped down since a kid. I actually like Piplup a little bit more than Empoleon now, but Water Steel's an awesome type, and I think it's the only one. I believe it's the only one, so gets props for that. Rayquaza, as I said earlier, the Hoenn trio is the best legendary trio in general. Growlithe, I used an Arcanine in my Johto playthrough on Pokemon MMO, and named Lilith, and it was probably my second best to Psycho Mantis, so... and just jumped up because of it. Yeah, that's all I'd say for this one. Gibble's a little derpy land shark, so I've kind of liked it just since I was a kid. That's all I can say, I guess. Meowscarada, I used a Meowscarada on my Violet playthrough. I can't for the life of me remember what I named it, and I don't have the chip anymore for Violet to check. My son lost it. Torchic. Blaziken is probably my favourite fire starter, so Torchic. And Trevenant, just a Ghost Tree, just cool Pokemon. Victreebel, even though I used a Victreebel named Anguish in my Johto playthrough, and in Pokemon MMO, and it was actually on my league team, I still don't like the Pokemon that well. It was a cool Pokemon, it'll make it to the next round at least. But yeah, it was a cool Pokemon, Anguish. But yeah, it was too weak as well. Crush, I had a golem named Crush. And I had one Slam Fist as well when I was a kid because of Small Soldiers, one of my favourite movies of all time. Noctowl. I've had Noctowl 4 or 5 playthroughs just in general. I've always loved owls. Noctowl because of it. I love it, and it's always been named Archimedes. Not sure why, just every time I've played it, Archimedes. And Dusk Noir. Dusk Noir, just because it's just a cool Pokemon. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I'd say. Blood Moon Ursaluna, I really liked the story to go get one. It was just really cool. Magnet Zone, in my Shining Pearl playthrough, I named it Eve? Oli. Pretty sure it was Eve. Weavile, surprisingly never used a Weavile. Always loved Weavile. Never used one. Maybe I'll use it next time I play through it. And Bastia Legion, just... I thought it was a really cool design when it first came out. I've actually never played Hisui Legends Arceus, not yet. I do plan on playing it, but for now I haven't played it. So on this one, I'm just going to choose Houndour and Melodic. Houndour and Houndoom are on my Kanto playthrough right now, named after my dog Mazakine, which is a demon. Houndoom worked. And Melodic, just like the Pokemon, I'm not sure. Swallow, I always like Swallow because of the anime, because of Ash's one. That's about it. Rowlet, just a cute little owl. Yeah, that's all I could say. Gliscor, I actually like Gliscor's shiny, and that's the reason I like Gliscor. I've never used it. I do plan on using it when I get to Sinnoh on Pokemon MMO. But yeah, right now I haven't used it. And Pinsir. Nothing to say about Pinsir, just cool Pokemon, I guess. Regigigas. Always liked the lore behind Regigigas. That's about it. Never really liked any of the other Regis, except for Regigigas. Spectria, I gotta mention that this is my wife's favorite Pokemon, and because she loves horses. Absolutely loves horses, and because of that, I've really fallen in love with this Pokemon. I can't say how far it would make it, but definitely a great Pokemon. And Kingdra as well. I'm gonna mention Hisuian Growlithe and Arcanine. Don't like him. Don't like the design. Terrible typing. So yeah, just never. Yeah, don't like them. They do not stand up to the originals. Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. I like Suicune the most, but all three are really cool. I've got Entei and Raikou here. And I like, yeah, as I said, I like Suicune the most, but very close. They're all three very close, I'd say. And I do like the lore that fans have made, where it's Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon. I prefer that. Hate the dinosaur versions. Absolutely can't stand them. They are terrible Pokemon and ruin the made-up lore that fans have made. And here's a Jolteon as well. Never really liked the evolutions as much. Probably just Jolteon and Umbreon, I'd say. Like Jolteon the most, I'd probably say, because I used Jolteon in a randomizer. Dialga, for the same reason as Palkia. Hisui and Goodra. Like Hisui and Goodra more than I like the original Goodra, and that's because Dragon Steel is a really good typing, and I used one in my Pokemon Showdown that I was playing, and just, yeah, really like it. And Xerneas, because it's based on Yggdrasil, the Viking world tree. Just cool Pokemon, awesome design, awesome backstory. So yeah, Houndoom, same reason. I used Ariados in my early stages of Johto, named Corazon, and yeah, it was actually really cool during the early stages. Never made it too far with it, but yeah. Galvantula I've just liked because it's a cool typing, cool design. Ariados has probably taken the spot of it, but I do like it. I'm going to click Mega Lucario. I probably wouldn't click the Megas too often, but Mega Lucario is awesome. Do prefer normal Lucario, but I do like the Mega enough to mention it and have it as both. Butterfree I've always loved because of that one scene of Ash releasing the Butterfree. It actually made me cry as a kid and made my wife cry when she first saw it when we were younger. Like, we've been together since we were 14. Do love Butterfree. I used Butterfree as well in the early stages of Johto. Then Ariados took over, and then Ariados didn't last too long either. But yeah, Cloak. I used Butterfree, and it was named Cloak. Charmander, I gotta mention just quickly, I started on Pokemon Red, but used Blastoise, and my brother started on Pokemon Blue and used a Charmander. Charizard. Just thought that was funny. Blastoise is my first Pokemon I ever used, so it will rank high, so. And Lugia I like from the movie the most, probably. That's probably all I could say. Oh, and Dark Lugia, or Shadow Lugia, sorry, from Gale of Darkness. Just, yeah, really cool Pokemon. Interesting game as well. Played it as a kid on the GameCube. Nidoking and Nidoqueen, I like Nidoking's design more, but I like Nidoqueen. Rank them very close, I'd say, towards the end, because I used a Nidoqueen in my Johto playthrough. Again, I keep mentioning Pokemon MMO, but it's how I do fall in love with a lot of these Pokemon, is a connection with them. And yeah, I used Nidoqueen, and its name was Freya. So yeah, it was really cool. Skidoo, I actually had a goat, probably, 3 years ago? Hang on. No, 4 years ago, and its name was Skidoo. So just because of that, the Pokemon has jumped up a heap. I always liked Go-Goat because it reminded me of Loki, especially the shiny. But I do like Skidoo more. Tinkaton here again, for the same reason as Tinkatink. And Annihilate, just thought that was an absolute beast of a Pokemon when it was announced. Definitely well-deserved for Primate. Definitely needed it to bring Primate. Primate was useless Pokemon, pretty much. Definitely needed it. And because of that, just absolutely awesome Pokemon. And Ghost Fighting's a very good typing as well. Piplup, same reason as Empoleon, really liked Penguins. Sinnoh's my home region. Yeah. And Slowpoke, have massive plushie of Slowpoke, and because of that, I really like it too. I've got a plushie of Drifloon, and it's actually a pretty cool plushie, and just, that's about it, I think. I had a Drapion in my Shining Pearl playthrough. His name was Hanzo, named after Scorpion on Mortal Kombat, obviously. Yeah, there's another ghost fighting type. Really cool. Ferret. I have ferrets. I've had ferrets for a very long time. I've just recently got another ferret named Z. And I've got my uncle's best friend's nickname is Ferret. So I've used Ferret in a couple of playthroughs and named it Alan after my uncle's best friend. And yeah, I grew up with him, so he's basically like my uncle as well. Flygon, always liked the Pokemon. Definitely should have been Bug Dragon. Very disappointed in that. Definitely should have been. Isn't, obviously. And that's it. Chi-Yu is definitely the best of all four of the ruins, whatever they are. Shini's absolutely awesome. I mentioned Raichu quickly. Raichu I like more than Pikachu. Pikachu is the mascot. I like Raichu a little bit more, so in turn, yeah, definitely up there. And Decidueye will definitely be up at my top because of Owls. Love the design. Grass Ghost, cool typing. Ghost is probably my favorite typing, I'd say so. So yeah, definitely up there. And I've never used one. I do plan on using one when I can, and probably name it Archimedes for the same reason as Noctowl. I'm not sure yet. Is Drapion and Hanzo and Chandelure. Always liked the Pokemon. Thought it was cool. Plan on using one when I get to Nova. Torterra. Okay, Torterra. I always liked Empoleon as a kid. Like Torterra more now. Turtwig. My son picked Turtwig when he started crawling. I had all four of the first generation Pokemon lined up in a row and let him crawl to pick one. And he picked Turtwig. Oh, and my other son picked Charmander, which I picked earlier. And I used Torterra in my Shining Pearl playthrough, named Aquapara, the World Turtle. I can't pronounce it very well, so I just kept calling it World Turtle, but that is the name of the World Turtle. And it was hands down probably my best Pokemon. So yeah, on that playthrough. Squirtle, as I said, my first ever Pokemon, so definitely up there. And Mimikyu would be the only other one I'd say. Yeah, just cool Pokemon. Ghost Fairy, awesome typing. I have a plushie of it as well. Pikachu, Ho-Oh. That's about it. I'm just going to speed run a little bit. Here's Freya that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, Mew and Mewtwo I really like from the movies. Hitmonchan, I never liked it as a kid. Like it now. I used a Hitmonchan in my Shining Pearl playthrough, and its name was Hulk. That was an awesome Pokemon. Rua, for the same reason as Zoroark, Togekiss, and Lapras. I know Lapras will rank high, very high, and I'm not going to spoil it until the end, so make sure you're watching. I'll talk about Lapras a lot more, and here's Blazing that I've already mentioned. That's all I'd say, probably, yeah. Latios and Latias I really liked from the movie as well, and I actually liked Latios a little bit more, even though Latias was the star of the movie more so. As already mentioned, and Crobat. Crobat I used on my Soul Silver playthrough, and it was just a beast, absolute beast. And Lucha, just always liked it. Luchador's really cool. Absol, Lucario. I know as I said, Lucario earlier, and Absol. I actually like Mega Evolution more than the the regular evolution of Absol, regular form of Absol, but definitely like them both. Absolutely majestic Pokemon. Love the lore behind it. And yeah, Volcarona, I used an Iron Moth in my Pokemon Showdown playthrough, or playing Pokemon Showdown. Never liked Iron Moth, but I did use it because it is a good Pokemon, and like Volcarona more than Iron Moth because of Iron Moth, if you know what I mean. And Donphan, I used Donphan in my early stages of Johto again, and its name was Peaches. Pidgeot, currently got a Pidgeot in my Kanto playthrough. Also used it as a kid in my through. So, and my Fire Red, Leaf Green, one of the two. Heracross, I had a Heracross, shiny Heracross in my Teal Mask playthrough, and just really like it. Shiny's awesome. Its name was Kratos. And Ogerpon, liked Ogerpon just because of the Teal Mask as well. It's just a cool Pokemon. Never liked Monkey Dory, Okidogi, and Pheasantipity though. Didn't like them at all. There's Blastoise. Mentioned Blastoise obviously earlier. Definitely will be ranking high. Raptor I used in pretty much every one of my four. Well, I used it in all four of my playthroughs of Sinnoh. Same with Luxray, but Luxray I know has fallen out of my favorites, I'd say. It was definitely in my top probably 20. I don't think it would be close to that. Charizard X, best of the two. 3? Did I get a Z yet? I don't know. Definitely the best. Awesome colors, everything. Spiritomb, just a cool Pokemon. Like the lore of it. And Metagross. I think it's the only pseudo-legendary that I used prior to Oh, hang on, what the hell happened then? Prior to Baxcalibur, which is here, which is funny, in my Violet playthrough. I'm pretty sure Metagross was my only one prior, which its name was X-Man. I've never used pseudo-legendaries because you got them too late, and they took too long to evolve, and I never used legendaries. But yeah, Kyogre, for the same reason as I mentioned with Rayquaza and Groudon, and Baxcalibur, I mentioned in saying that I used one in my Violet playthrough named Godzilla. It was just Giratina, same reason as I mentioned with Palkia and Dialga. And Drifblim, like more than Drifloon. Yeah, Ludicolo, actually. Ludicolo is definitely up there in... I don't know how far it will make it, but I do really like Ludicolo. I know everyone hates it, and it makes me like it more. It's just a derpy-looking Pokemon, just a really, really derpy Pokemon. That's it. That's pretty much it. Venusaur, currently using a Venusaur in my Kanto playthrough named Bendu. If you don't know the reference, it's from Star Wars. And Trico. That's pretty much it, I'd say, from this one. I'm going to speed run a couple. Sharpedo, Shark, cool. Miraidon, Violet, you use it a lot. Turtwig, mentioned earlier. Zorua, mentioned earlier. And Articuno. Articuno was my first legendary that I ever caught in my blue. Oh, I lied. I did use a legendary. It was in my first playthrough of all time, and it was Articuno. So it was funny that I used 2 water types, 2 ice types, and 2 flying types. I'll get to that in the end, but that was my... And I don't know if I ever completed the league as a kid. But yeah, that was the end team that I remember. Cubone, just, yeah, love the Pokemon. Just cute, sad Pokemon. Bulbasaur and Vulpix, Alolan Vulpix, for the same reason I mentioned earlier. Gardevoir, I know for a fact, will rank highly. Used a Gardevoir in, yeah, I'd say pretty much every one of my Sinnoh playthroughs. Named Ahsoka after Star Wars again, and Poliwrath, just really like the Pokemon. Not sure if I've ever used a Poliwrath. Can't say that I have, can't remember. Padash, horses, my wife's favourite. Charizard, Mudkip, same reasons that I've already said. This might be the first time that I skip. Yeah, this will be the first time that I actually pass. The worst Pokemon of all time, and definitely the worst early generation, early route bird. Infernape, probably the least out of the three, but still like it. Ralts, Mudsdale for the same reason. Horses, Ralts, really like Ralts because of Gardevoir. You know, I actually like Mega Banette. Just a really cool design, kind of creepy. Yeah, I don't like Mega Blastoise. Arbok, I just like snakes. Arbok's the best snake Pokemon. Never used one, just, yeah, like it. And that's all I'd say. Earlier. Gogoat, for the same reason that I said earlier, reminds me of Loki, especially the Oni, and Skidoo. King Gambit, just a really cool Pokemon. Used it for a little while in Violet, and then didn't end up finishing with it. And that's about it. Never actually grown attached to Dragonite. Thought it was always derpy. Didn't like that Dragonair turned into Dragonite. It was too far of a stretch. And then the Mega Evolution is shit. Excuse my French. Gallade, I think it won't make it after next round, but Gallade I like because of Gardevoir, but I love Gardevoir. Gallade won't make it too far. There's Absol, but I'll keep Mega Absol, as I said earlier. Grimmsnarl, very dark, awesome Pokemon. First and only that I can think of, like a scary, creepy, fairy-type Pokemon. Mewtwo, love Mewtwo and Mew because of them, because of the movie. And that's it. I was very disappointed in the Galarian birds. Liked all the shiny Galarian birds, though. All three shinies. Because they remind me of the originals. Oh, Phanpy. Am I going to pass on this? Yeah, I'm probably going to pass on this too. Yep. Yep, and don't like any of the other Pokemon enough to even warrant picking. I'm going to mention Seedot. Seedot's a funny, weird Pokemon. Wouldn't make it after next round, but I'm going to pick it because it's funny. That's about it. Well, I ended up passing. Doesn't matter. Munchlax, like it because of... I really like Snorlax. I like Munchlax because of it. Boom. Corviknight. Corviknight, hands down one of my favourites. Ravens are my favourite birds. I love birds. My dream would be to own a farm and actually breed birds. That would be my dream job. And Corviknight, there's ravens all around my house. Forest ravens, blue-eyed ravens. And I've always loved Corviknight. Sick shiny too. I used a Corviknight in my Violet playthrough named Hyonen and Mjolnir. They are Odin's two ravens. This next one, I don't think I'd pick any Pokemon, I'd say. Electivire is cool. Probably won't make it to the next round. But, yeah. That's about it. Mega Gengar, hands down, a 10 out of 10 shiny, but doesn't compare to normal Gengar. Suicune, as I said earlier, like Suicune more than Raikou and Entei, but I like them almost the same. And that's about it, I'd say, from this one. I'm really trying to narrow it down so I don't have to pick too much. I used a Lucario for a long time in almost every one of my playthroughs as well, named Zero. I don't remember what I named it as a kid, but I know my Shining Pearl playthrough was Zero. And for Relegator, obviously, Irwin. Kicks. One of actually the best Pokemon that I used in my Violet playthrough, Bug Dark, it took way too long for them to make a Bug Dark, and it was a really cool design. Love how it starts off with a really weak Pokemon and becomes quite strong too. So yeah, Berserker because it's Viking, obviously. Love Viking mythology, love Vikings as a whole. So yeah, Talonflame for the same reason. Love birds. Used a Talonflame in my early routes of Violet as well, and just really liked it. Golurk, definitely a sick design, plain and simply because of that. And same with Noivern, definitely because it's a cool design. That's all I'd say. Alakazam. I'm using an Alakazam in my Kanto playthrough as well, named Eminem, because of Abracadabra. And Dragapult. Dragapult's probably my favorite pseudo-legendary, and one of my favorite Pokemon that I've never used, which is weird. Just a sick design, Ghost Dragon. As I said, Ghost is probably my favorite typing. I'd probably say so. And it's just a cool Pokemon. Used it in my Pokemon Showdown. It's really cool too. Now, I'm not competitive. I don't play too much competitive as a whole, but when I do, it's probably Pokemon Showdown that I play the most. Marouge, definitely disappointed. I didn't mention this with Cyril Edge, but I was disappointed that the shinies didn't swap colors. That's what they should have done. Should have just swapped colors, not just the eyes. It was ridiculous. But I do like Marouge. It will feature in a video coming up soon. So, yeah, make sure you check it out. It'll be featuring Broark. There's Arcanine, as I said, used Lilith. Definitely jumped up a hell of a lot. Diesel and Floats. I used them a couple of times in my playthroughs. Never liked them. Even though they're kind of like they're weasels, which are kind of like ferrets. Never really liked them. Still don't really like them. Yeah, Vikavolt. Definitely should have been faster. Should have been faster. But, really cool Pokemon. Oh, here we go. We're getting into the Pokemon that thing. I'm going to try and drop 5 at a time. I'm pretty sure that's what I did last time I did this. So let's see who I can't drop yet. I could drop Lopunny. I could drop Starly. I could probably drop Gallade. I could probably drop... I'll drop Growlithe because I've got Arcanine. I love Arcanine a hell of a lot more than a Growlithe, so I could probably drop Growlithe. Yeah, Trevenant, I'd say... Is that 5? That's 4. Probably Bennett, I'd say. Now, who am I going to drop? Probably Tinkaton. I like Tinkatink a lot more. Croconaw, I like Totodile and Feraligatr a lot more. Croconaw's just kind of that awkward middle evolution. It's going to be hard. I don't think I can drop anything else. Yet. Yeah, I don't think I could drop anything yet. I don't know. Probably, I could drop Lycanroc. I like Rockruff a lot more. Hmm. Gible. Hmm. Noivern, I guess. I really got to try and drop more. Happy to drop King Gambit. Mudkip, not so happy about, but I can drop it, and that's 5. So yeah, that'll do for now. I definitely can't get rid of Lapras. Can't get rid of Gardevoir, Gengar, Nidoqueen. Probably I can get rid of Cleavor. Never used it. Leica only because of Scizor and Scyther. Zorua for the same reason that I said earlier. Poochenna, yeah, probably Poochenna as well. Get 158 before I get my favorite. That's crazy. Slowpoke. I'm gonna drop Ogerpon. Drop Ogerpon. I could drop Torchic. Probably Golurk. I really got to knock it down a fair bit, so I could probably drop Golurk. I could probably drop Greninja, to be honest. Probably Poliwrath as well. At 5. Probably drop Electivire, Cacturne, Grimmsnarl. You know what? I'd probably drop that, yeah. Tinkatink, Geodude, Drifloon, Sharpedo, Galvantula, yeah. Dusknoir and Drifblim, probably. Swallow, probably, yeah. I'll keep the Mega Evolution here for Lucario, even though I like them both. obviously. I definitely think Luxray makes it to at least top 100. At least, at the very least. Rillaboom, never played the generation, probably never will play the generation, just really like the Pokemon because of the drums. Kingdra probably doesn't make it to my top 100, even though it's a really cool Pokemon. Yeah, that'll have to do for now. It's getting hard. Really drop Heavy Armor. I like Machamp a lot more than Heavy Armor. I'm gonna have to just compare them like that too, I guess. This recording's going on for a fair bit, so I'm gonna have to edit this down a lot.
A lot of time talking to myself, convincing myself to drop things at a certain time. I've gotten down to the top 50, well, at least, sorry, the 50 until it becomes the favorite. So, continue with I'm going to drop Dialga here, Skidoo here, Alakazam here, Aegislash here. I'm going to try and keep dropping 5 at a time, and I know they're in my top 100 now, so I'm a little bit more comfortable dropping them 5 at a time. After talking to myself for a long time trying to do it earlier, I'm comfortable dropping Eve, Magnezone, out on Bubble Bunny. Yeah, that's probably it. I know I said I was comfortable doing it, but I'm not. This is exactly what I was doing off camera. Torterra, Arcanine. I'm happy to drop. That's probably it. Ninetales and Alola Ninetales both made it this far. I'm going to count them as one Pokemon, so when I do finally get into the picking of the favorites, I'm going to have them put together, because I do like them probably just as much as each other. You know what, yeah, I'm happy with that. Try and drop 5, as I said, try and drop 5 at a time. Just try. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Lapras, Snorlax, Lucario. I'm happy to drop Cubone, Machamp, and Decidueye. I keep Decidueye here. Happy to drop the rest. Gardevoir, Blastoise, Venusaur. Yeah. Yep. Gonna drop that. Lapras, Squirtle. Yep. Snorlax, Corviknight, Houndoom. These, Lucario. Oh, hang on. What's going on? Lucario and Arcanine. Out of these, Arcanine. Out of the Lucario, Corviknight, Lapras, Gardevoir, Lapras, Arcanine, Lapras, Arcanine or Lucario, Gardevoir or Blaziken, Gardevoir. It's always been a 50-50 here. Lucario, Prickett, and then Gardevoir. Gardevoir has to be next. Oh, Blastoise. Blastoise is my first Pokemon ever. Blastoise. Gardevoir, sorry. Snorlax. Arcanine. Snorlax. Arcanine. Snorlax. Blastoise. Arcanine. Blastoise. Blastoise. Arcanine. Arcanine. Corviknight. Gengar. Blastoise. Corviknight. Blastoise. Sizzle. Bottom free. Venusaur. Sizzle. My first ever Pokemon. My first ever Pokemon was Blastoise. Well, Squirtle, but Blastoise. Yeah, it's gonna have to be Sizzle. Psycho Mantis was just so good in my playthrough. Blastoise has to be here now. Thank you. It just automatically picked it. Houndoom for sure. I don't know how Kyogre ended up so high. Venusaur. Gengar. Houndoom. Gengar, Venusaur, Gengar, Articuno, Feraligatr, X-Man, Blaziken, who knew that 3 grass starters would be in my top 20, whatever it works out it's going to be. Venusaur just pips it because I'm currently using Venusaur. Before I used it in Kanto this time, I probably would have said Torterra. Blaziken, definitely Blaziken. Irwin or Bendu? Irwin or Bendu? Irwin. Bendu. Bendu. I never liked Feraligatr until this playthrough just gone. Blaziken and then Venusaur. I'm happy with Venusaur next. Decidueye. Venusaur. Articuno. Has a soft spot in my heart because it's my first ever legendary. Irwin. Decidueye. Absol. Irwin. I've never used Decidueye, but I've loved it since it came out. I've always loved Absol, and well, technically I've never used an Absol too. I will be using it in my Hoenn playthrough. Absol. Absol. Decidueye. Squirtle. Cubone. Nidoqueen. Mewtwo. Cubone. Nidoqueen. Cubone. Nidoqueen? Okay. Butterfree. Mewtwo. As a pairing of Mewtwo and Mew, would definitely be quite high. I don't know why Mewtwo's here, but Mew isn't, and I don't know why Kyogre's here and Groudon and Rayquaza aren't. I like Rayquaza more than Kyogre, but I like the 3 of them together, if you know what I mean. Same with Nidoqueen. When Nidoking comes up, I'll probably drag Nidoking up, because you can move him like that. Squirtle, probably. I've always loved butterflies as well. I don't know why. Just Mewtwo, Butterfree, Kyogre. Where's Palkia too? And Giratina. Butterfree, Ninetales, Hitmonchan, Ninetales, and Ninetales. I want them together. Champ, Squirtle, Machamp, and I'm happy for Squirtle to be here now too. Noctowl dropped a couple of years ago when I did do this. Noctowl was in my top 5, I'm pretty sure. It was 5th, I think it was. It's definitely dropped. Staraptor. I also used a Noctowl in my Johto, so you'd think but it was very weak and it always used to die. That's probably why it didn't stay in my top 10, I'd say. How far did it drop? I don't even know how far I am at the moment. I'll get to 100 and then I'll stop. Noctowl. Gyarados. Staraptor. Pidgeot. Metagross. Metagross. Berserker. Drapion. Here's Palkia. See, again, what I was saying before with a trio or duo, such as like how I'm keeping the Ninetales together. I want to keep Nidoking and Nidoqueen together, Mew and Mewtwo together. So I'll drag Mew up, I'll drag Nidoking up, because I like them as a pair more than separate. Kyogre and Groudon and Rayquaza I like as a thruple. Is that 3? Same with Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina. I like them as the 3. So as the 3, that Kyogre, Rayquaza, and Groudon would be the number 1 legendaries as the 3, and then Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina would be the 2nd as a 3. But singly, Articuno and Mew and Mewtwo as a pair I like more. So, I like Kyogre more. He is Nidoking, so I'm just going to drag Nidoking up anyways. Spectria here. Nidoking, Spectria, Nidoking. So I can drag that up now, because I want to keep that with Nidoqueen. And I'm probably going to drop them just below for Mew and Mewtwo, because I want Mew and Mewtwo a little higher. So I'm going to keep them 2 together. There we go. I'm happy with that. Dragapult would be probably this one. Spectria, Kratos the Heracross, Dragapult, Spectria, Hanzo the Drapion, Loki the Go-Goat, Hanzo the Drapion, Loki the Go-Goat, Dialga, Charizard, Annihilate. Ah, here's Rayquaza, okay. I'm gonna just try and get all 3 of these legendaries out here. So I'm just gonna speed run this a little. Try and keep these together. Definitely Latios, definitely Charizard. Try and get Palkia out, try and get Dialga, Groudon out. This one's hard. Eva, or the Beast Annihilate. Annihilate, Groudon, Annihilate, Charizard. There's Giratina. Skidoo, my goat. Giratina. Alright, I've got them all out, I believe. I do. Alright, so let's keep these 3 together, but I do like them in that order. And let's have them, these in order, and I like them in order like that. But I do like Charizard a little bit more. I like Charizard a little bit more than Zoroark. A bit more than Go-Goats. Yep, I'm happy with that. Alright, Corazon. Skidoo. Eminem. I've always found it funny how, I can't remember who it is, it's some pokey YouTuber, calls it Eggy Slash. I can't remember, it's Aegislash. I'm pretty sure it's Aegislash, but I always thought it was funny, Eggy Slash. Can't remember who called it that. Let me know in the comments if you know who I'm talking about. I just don't remember. So yeah, that's why Eminem, Corazon, yeah, Skidoo. When I did this the first time, so did this a few years ago. A lot of it's changed. My top 4 hasn't changed. I don't think. My top 4 hasn't changed. Corviknight was 5th. Oh, so Noctowl must have been 6th. Noctowl's down here now. Arcanine wasn't even in my top 50, has jumped up heaps. That's crazy. It's definitely changed a lot since I've done this before. Eminem. I'm going to go to a top 100, and then I'll show you the 100 at the end. Aegislash. So Psycho Mantis. That's Sizzle. Scyther. Ludicolo made it all the way up here. That's great. Ludicolo is just a derpy Pokemon on it, and because of everyone hating on Ludicolo, I actually really like it. I'm surprised I made it up this high, in general. But Piplup would probably win here. Riolu probably wins here. Scyther probably wins here. And then Riolu. Eevee probably wins here. Scyther. Eevee. Rockruff. Piplup. Rockruff. Eevee. Rockruff. I'm probably going to have Eevee next, I'd say. Ludicolo beats out the other 2. Eevee. Bubble Bunny. Charmander, Bubble Bunny, Eva, Ludicolo, Charmander probably here. I'd say Rotom probably makes it next. I'm gonna say Rotom, Suicune, Latios, Suicune. That's another trio that I'd probably have together. Even though I like Suicune the most, I'd probably have them close together. Skarmory. It's funny, I wouldn't have had Skarmory here at all. I don't even think it would have made it in my top 200 last time I did this. I don't think. It's just jumped up because of Pokemon Showdown. I've got Mega Charizard X in as a replacement for normal Charizard, so I won't have that. And Skarmory. Garchomp. Skarmory. I'm going to go to 100, as I said. And we're getting into these types of Pokemon. The Hisuian Goodra. Probably Chandelure. Chandelure's got a sick Mega too. I didn't even see the Mega. I don't. Ah, new Mega. Probably wouldn't have it. Probably Meowscarada here. And probably Chandelure here, I'd say. Oh, here we go. Do I have Hisuian Zoroark? I do. So, Hisuian Zoroark I like a lot more than, normal Zoroark compared to Hisuian, Alolan Ninetales and normal Ninetales. So, that's why it's dropped all the way down here, and I won't group them together. But I'd say Xerneas would probably be here. I saw a plushie of Xerneas as well that was super cool. I'm spewing I can't find it. Shadow Lugia and Vulpix, huh? Alolan Vulpix, I don't know why it's dropped out. You know what, I'll keep that with the other Vulpix as well, so before I forget. When I find Hitmonchan, I'll probably bring it up too. Totodile. Tyrantrum. Zoroark. Tyrantrum. I'm surprised Tyrantrum dropped. I thought it would be higher. Here's Raikou. So why is Raikou dropped out all the way down here? I'm gonna keep them together as well. The three. Empoleon. Probably Zoroark here. Probably Golem. Probably Runerigus. Even though you spend a lot of time with Miraidon and Koraidon, I always liked Miraidon more. I guess you don't... It's been only one generation, so probably that's why. I don't like it as much, but yeah. Probably Golem and Raikou. I want to try and pull Raikou out, so that way I've got all three. Pretty sure I've got all three already. Yeah, I do. So let's have them in the order that I like them to, but group them together. So I'm happy with that. And that would be close to 100. So I'm just going to do the last couple here. Probably Gliscor here, and then Gliscor here. It's funny that Pikachu's just overdone. It's funny that I don't even think it makes it in the top 100. I've always liked Raichu more. Same with Charizard. If Charizard wasn't so overdone, it would have made it higher. But it's so overdone. That's why Greninja. I don't like Greninja. Everyone loves Greninja. It's like the best Pokemon ever. And that's why I don't like it. Yet Lucario was very similar to that, but for some reason Lucario is up there. So yeah, I'm gonna pick those two over Pikachu. I'm sorry, Pikachu. It's kind of funny. So I've got up to 90 picks. So this is what I've got up to. Probably Miraidon here, Volcarona here, Zapdos here, and Zapdos. I'm happy with Zapdos next. It's funny, I liked Zapdos more than Articuno until I caught Articuno first. It was my first ever legendary Articuno, and then since then it became my favourite legendary because it's my first ever. Alright, now I guess I pick Pikachu here. I do like Pikachu more than those two, even though. Again, I've got Charizard already, the Mega X as the placeholder for the Charizard, and then Pikachu here. Roserade ran away. There's Machamp. Hitmonchan. Probably Garganacl here. You ride on here. I want Hitmonchan out anyways, so I can move it to him with Hitmonlee. I'm going to shuffle them around as well, just in case, see if there's any others. I'm going to speed run quickly here. Run this little bit here. And Talonflame. Talonflame definitely should have been a little higher. I think that would be 100. Well, it's definitely over 100 because Runerigus was 90, so Garganacl is 96, 102, 108, so that's 110 at Sceptile. So I'll end it here. I'll just double check by moving them around. I wanted a Hitmonchan with Hitmonlee. I guess, see, Luxray probably should have been a little higher. I do like it a little bit more than Gliscor. Talonflame definitely should have been higher. I don't know why the computer decided to drop it so high. I might have dropped it a little low, a little early, I think. Talonflame. Do I like Talonflame any more than that? Yeah, I do like it a little bit more than Skarmory, to be honest, so... yeah, I'm happy with it there. Yeah, I think that's it. And so this is the top 100. So, Lapras, Lucario, Gardevoir, Snorlax, Arcanine, Corviknight, Scizor, Blastoise, Houndoom, Gengar round out the top 10. So, and then everything else. That's, yeah, I'd say the computer definitely got it mostly correct. For some reason, it dropped a couple of Pokemon a little early, but yeah. I knew my top 5 anyway. At least my top 4. Arcanine surprised me beating Corviknight. It did surprise me, but I do like Arcanine more than Corviknight now. Scizor surprised me making it so high. Yeah. Noctowl definitely surprised me dropping so low, but it makes sense. When I did this the first time, I had Skidoo, my goat, so Skidoo was definitely a lot higher. I think it was in my top 20, but it makes sense that it dropped out now the goat's dead. That sounded really, really bad the way I said that. And obviously the newer Pokemon weren't here. Actually, I didn't see a lot of some of the new Pokemon. Like Pecharunt. I didn't even see Pecharunt at all. I don't like the Pokemon anyways, but I don't remember seeing it at all. But yeah, so this is my top 100. So if you like that, then yeah, please like and subscribe and stay tuned. I'll be doing a lot more Pokemon stuff. Stuff that won't be as long as well. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and like and subscribe. Cheers.